Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of Season 3 of Riding Through the Unknown. I'm joined tonight with my co host extraordinaire, Nova Bell.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Well, tonight we are bringing you a guest who, if memory serves right, Nova, wasn't this one that you had talked to me about and brought my attention to?
I did. I seen Chris on another podcast and thought that we really needed to get him on here to tell his story.
Nice.
And here he is. So,
Thanks.
with that being said, I'm going to allow him to introduce himself because his story is so extraordinary. I don't think I could do it justice in a quick summation. So, I'm going to turn it over to the one, the only amazing Chris Laterreur.
Thanks. So yeah, my name is Chris Laterreur. I'm originally from Quebec. I got recruited in the Montauk, like the Monarch project. It's a MK Ultra, a subproject, and I was recruited at the age of 6. Um, the preschool brought us to a job fair. There were like people talking about their trades with tables and stuff like on their table about their trades. And the last booth was like military and cops, and like they had guns, drug samples, and they offered us like to participate in a secret project. We had like a bunch of checklists to fill out. Um, like what kind of field we wanted to be and all, and me and my buddies like we all wanted to be the badass like with guns, so like we're all hitting for the worst of the worst, and like even the teachers were there like behind us, are you sure? Because we didn't know like, at 6 years old that this was like going to be the trajectory of our lives. So anyway, like we brought some papers to our parents to see if they were okay with this. From there, brought back the papers. We had an appointment with John Gattinger, like he was the chief recruiter from for the CIA and like many other secret services around the world, and him and like cops and all, and they were like talking to my mom about like the benefits of like doing this project, like they were all just all around her, like spitting her head and saying like, "Oh, it's gonna be true light trauma. You won't remember anything. Like he's gonna be a genius. Like his all his brain, like both sides, gonna be synchronized and like working compared to like the average of people are like not half the brain is working. So through those trauma." Like they make that everything is like synchronized and everything works. So a nice show with a lot of money at the end. Uh, benefits, support from like those important people, and also like they made like a lot of people rich in town. Like they recruited a bunch of kids, and from there like we all agreed like parents couldn't ask question about what was going on in the training, and like we couldn't talk about it to our parents. So like if like something was happening, it could be a test so like they made sure like we weren't comfortable to communicate about it at that age, and like the stuff they were doing was so awkward and so like wild, like we weren't comfortable talking about that kind of stuff. So yeah. So from there, I got uh, first appointment that I was by myself, and I went there. I met another kid. That kid is actually my buddy still today. And like we met. That's how we met. Like that first appointment, and yeah, it was like we had some checklists to fill out. Like the cartoons we love, the Persona and Star Wars, stuff like that, just to like size us, analyze us, and to know us like from A to Z, and so yeah, and they gave us something, and they sent us in the yard like a kind of drug or something, and like they sent us in the yard for maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, something like that, to probably let the time to the stuff to kick in.
Mm-hmm.
So me and my buddy, like that's how we met and talked and like became friends. So and at some point they came and got us back, and we had this. It's kind of a machine anyway. Like they brought us in a different office, but like in my office it was a machine with like eye exam, but like different. There were like different colors and all, and they were passing like brutal images in there, like all kinds of stuff, like that a kid shouldn't see, like so. Like through repetition all the time, and like with different lenses in front to see under different colors. A lot of like the German guy with the little mustache, like
Mm-hmm.
a lot of stuff about that, and uh, yeah, like it was like murder scenes, like orgies, like all kinds of stuff like that. Like suicide, like people cut up in pieces, like like the a kid that's like 6 7 years old shouldn't see this. So anyway, like through all repetition, through all the colors and all, just I don't know, to get us used to like under like to be used to that kind of stuff, like under every color kind of good thing probably. So once this was finished, we had to sleep an hour in a little office before we could leave. So like, and we finished our test at the same time. So like that was probably the same exact test that Eric was doing there. So yeah, we slept an hour, and after they told us like we couldn't stay, like we couldn't talk, and we said fuck it, and we became friends from that day, and we're still friends. But yeah, like that was the first appointment, like. And yeah, like after a bunch of appointments, like all like getting worse and worse and worse, like till like Montauk, that was the worst. Like like we were in panties and like underground, like the floors were like old concrete with like a lot of water and like bloody, like bloods from like probably 10 years of like passing kids through the cages, and like getting beaten and bleeding. Like there were no beds. Like so like the only thing that was really like washing those floors was the kids that were getting like waterboard and thrown back in the cage. Like the bit of water was diluting, but like, it was 10 years of that, like the cage area. So yeah, that was like the smell of blood in the cage area was really like overwhelming, like the metallic taste, like and yeah, like
So did they went to your school and like recruited you from school? You're
yeah,
saying.
yeah.
So
And
was
my mom said yes, like I think she got like 40 grand, and like I got a pension for that, like uh yeah, like
were they like military people coming to recruit
yeah,
you?
yeah, and CIA, like there were like a sign from the CIA, like on a like like those little posts with a little square, and there's a glass in it, and there were a sign of the CIA in it. And like when I got there, I said to my mom, "Hey, look, mom, like CIA, that's like the FBI, like the police." Like I was a kid, I was all excited. So yeah, but that's all memories I have now, like that are clear, like like
I
so.
wonder if they doing like the Gateway project when you were saying brain syncing. I wonder if it was something like that.
Well, yeah, like like we got trained by so many people, like because in my area they bought a school. The CIA bought a school that was abandoned. They bought it for $1 and they had to refurbish it. So that was the deal, and like they refurbished it, and like that was used mainly for the Monarch project. Like there were a few regular kids that weren't taking part of the project, but like they were just getting split off the class when like sample like CIA people were coming to teach us. Like we had like a bunch of like remote viewing, like that was like something. Like there were people from Stargate that came and like teach us how to do the remote viewing. That was like yeah something pretty cool. Like I have a bunch of souvenirs like that of like those train. The part of at school wasn't like like the abuse part, and like because it was still in the like a government building and like a lot of witness, but like when they were bringing us like coming to get us at night or like for a week or like a sample like through a scout trip, they were taking us apart and like bringing us to wherever, like you never knew what it could end like like so yeah, like sorry, my puppies are loud a bit, yeah.
That's all right. And I'm curious, talking about like the Stargate projects and Monarch, do you have any recall or any knowledge of going through like the Stargate and
Yeah
operating with other races?
yeah, like this I honestly like we're not alone, like that's for sure, like and like you see a bit like my background on the purple, like the Stargate is actually a bit like the real, the movie Stargate, the watery look, but
Right.
it's that purple, okay, and it's really like a purple like on my cover there, and yeah, we were just like they were sitting us on the Montauk chair, and we had to like astral project through it, like they were bringing us like on the Montauk chair. There were like a mask, and they were making us breathe like a new flower that they just discovered in the Everglades in the 80s. And like I'm talking like the shot like the 12 August 1983. Okay, and like he was like Jack was like telling me that like that was what I was breathing in the mask. The name of that flower is like a ghost flower, like epiphat. It's a floating flower, a ghost flower. So yeah, so like epiphat. So that's found in the Everglades, and like they newly discovered in the 80s.
Okay.
So that was the part that I was breathing in the mask, and he was showing me also a lotus, a white lotus in front of me, and like telling me that this was used since ancient Egypt, like in rituals, and like exp- just calming me down from like all the trauma I just lived through the cage area, and like like seeing a kid dead, like draining in a pan, that like traumatized me. Like I was scared of looking at him, like and my buddy Steve, like uh, he wasn't moving, or like I was trying to talk to him and like he wasn't responding at all, like just like no sign of life. I didn't know if he was dead. He made it out of there, but like he didn't made it too long after. So yeah, but yeah, like that's the kind of memories that he was trying to calm me down with, the talking about those flowers, and like Preston, while Preston was like hooking up everything, putting catheter on me, and like all those like plugs on the new hat, because it was a new hat that time, because usually it was a white hat, like a cotton type, and that time it was kind of a net, and like I asked like, what is it, and like they didn't have anymore the other one, So like so yeah, like he hooked all those little probes on it and whatever, and uh, like they put the 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 Stargate, like the portal in front of me, like they adjusted it in front of the chair, and yeah, like talking to me and all, and giving me like I had to go through it and go and open my gateway, and like that Jack would guide me back, because like the risk, I was really good at like doing astral projection, but I was doing it locally because like they were scaring us about like getting lost. So like I was just going to the place I knew around, and like, but I was doing it on a regular basis. So that's why I was good. So but like that was the first time I was going far, and like most of the kids that died at Montauk died like that, like through like getting lost in astral projection, and also like yeah, that's how like this was going on there, like for the most part, like
So
yeah,
I'm curious, as you're talking about, like, getting lost in the astral, and so they didn't make it back.
yeah.
Were there med beds or like bacta tanks or water tanks there? So if you got hurt, they
there were
could.
there were metal pan that they were like doing waterboarding in it, like at the end of like the cage section. There were kind of an open room there, and like there were like a stunt cattle prop, like electric thing, and like they were that big pan, and like once in a while they were coming in their cage and getting us and like bringing us there, and doing waterboarding and almost reanimating us to do it again, because like we're giving up at some point, because like yeah, you want to fight, but like after like 10, 15, 20 times, like you don't resist, like you just like you're like a rag, and like they just like get the water out of you, and like you go back, and like, so like yeah, those are the kind of traumas that like makes people dissociate, like it's an automatis, like to dissociate when you are living traumas, like kind of protection that the body has, and that's what they were looking for. Like those dissociation were creating alters with a new slate that they could program and like hide inside us, so that they like this comes out when needed, or like if they need it, or like in a certain situation. So like storage, like inside us, that we don't know where it's coming from, but yeah, it's all kinds of stuff like that. So yeah, that's like most of the well, not most, but like it was divided like in a few aspect, like there were a lot about the satanic, because like Michael Aquino was in this, and like the Temple of Set, and there were a lot of ritual about this, like we like I remember like being brought to like Ramses II, like the exposition in Montreal, and like there were like people from the CIA that were checking us, and like on what we were really focusing on, like the artifact that we were really focusing and stuff, and yeah, like when I record the tape, like when I rewind the tape, like wow, like that's like you realize all this, like and Aquino, and like because like at some point, like because like when they erase your memory, and it's something that you have to rediscover, like, and yeah, like sometimes you get on a shock, like discovering, oh, what the fuck, man? Like that's wow, like like yeah, some stuff is pretty wild, and like it's like the what's wild is the number of kids that didn't make it out of Montauk, because like supposedly it was like 1% of us that made it out alive of there. So like that's the I think the hardest place like to the anyway the Monarch project like the Montauk place was like Camp Hero like like yeah, and I thought they were building heroes on that chair like stupid me when I was a kid, like because like I got offered to go there because I completed like a test of like a astral projection in a water case, like a closed water case, being waterboard, and I had to go and get like two words that my cop handler was holding on him, and those words were like propaganda and constitutional. So like as soon as I said that, like, cause there were like a two-way speaker in the cover, and as soon as I said that, like they stopped the machine and like yeah, it was like they were happy like because their thing worked. Like 'cause it was kind of like a tough situation because imagine yourself like you're laying down in a gasket shaped box like full of water. They're tying up your head so you can't like lift your head like and you have like the water close to an inch from your nose, like so and as soon as they close the cover there's something that starts to splash in this and just like yeah, it's waterboarding extreme. So like
Oh,
we were all getting out of there like crying, and like they were like just like hey, shut up, they were like super rude with us like through those tests. Like we just had to get used to it, and yeah, like that's how they treated us like so
that's intense.
yeah, like and I'm not the only one. Like that's my story, but like like there's probably kids that had it worse than me, and like hopefully like my story will intrigue people to look at the other stories too, and like like cause like this has to be like exposed, and like I was saying earlier, like the book I wrote is like my statement for the action class against the Adam Memorial Hospital in Montreal, like and the CIA, and like it's my statement with like a few little text extras, like one from Ron Patton from MKZ, and also like a few pictures and all to make like a kind of a book, but like it's the truth, like behind the mystery of Montauk, what happened that day, the 12th August 1983, like without the bullshit and like the stuff to make a story out of it. Because like my story is probably as wild or wilder than like what they diverted it to, because like they don't want people to know the truth, like because it was like that hard, so yeah.
Well, I almost wonder if they make some of um, these movies and TV shows and stuff, and give it like just so everybody does thinks it's fiction. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Well, Stranger Thing was like based like on Montauk, like on the monsters, on my story, and like it's funny because like a lot of the thing, I got saved by a cop. Like the cop was in my life after for the rest of my life over there, and like yeah, like the mom there had the same car as my mom, the same color, like during the project, like the stuff like that, like, and that's just like looking at it like through like that. I'm sure if I would like focus on watching this and like listening, and like I'd notice a bunch of stuff that's related to my actual story, like, and yeah,
Absolutely.
so
I'm curious, as you talked about, they came to you and you were approached you. Do you think that you had any abilities or gifts
oh
that
yeah.
put them on your radar, and so that's why they approached you? And do you
Yeah.
mind sharing what those could have been?
Well, another thing, like I was special, you know. I had like two rows of teeth, like a shark. So like I had to go through a surgery, like to remove like the second rows of teeth, but like a bit like a Anunnaki, you know, and yeah, a lot of
That's
people like were some people were stopping us in the street sometimes, and wow, like you're special, like you know, and I remember at some point in the restaurant, and that was a lady that was on a TV doing cards reading and all kinds of stuff. Like she was really known, and like she did that scene in the restaurant. Like she had to come and sit with us, she was just impressed by the energy. I was like glowing or yeah, so like, but that was kind of making my dad uncomfortable, even me, like you know, like who likes that. So yeah, so yeah, for sure I was special, you know, like for the astral projection and you know, like telepathy and all, it's all stuff like, yeah, telekinesis, like a test that I remember that was pretty cool. Okay, like we had like a little boat that was floating in a water pan. Okay, and we had to think one by one, trying to like make it move. And so like it was going like but slowly, but like soon as we did the test all together, the thing almost like a jet boat, like you know, like just the power of everybody united on. So like all kinds of tests that were like cool. I learned a lot like in this project, you know, like it's not all bad stuff, but like the bad was real bad, like so.
Right. And so I'm curious, as you say, like some of the stuff wasn't bad. A lot of people I notice, and I'm kind of a little bit guilty of it myself, is always sharing the bad parts. And so I'm trying to start to share the good parts of what I've learned from my experiences that I can recall. And so I'm curious, what good do you feel came from your experiences?
Oh, like sense of life, like the open mindedness, the you know, don't know if it's the LSD they made us do, like, cause like we were taking LSD like on a regular basis during those years, the CIA school, so I don't know if because like that was the goal to take the LSD. We're leaving for school. We're taking a drop of LSD with our little lunch and leaving for school, like you know, and like the goal of that was to open the minds of our door, the doors of our mind, you know, and so that was like what Jack was always like repeating, and like sample when there were stuff that was bugging us, or like to build our storage, the files of storage, you know, like when there were like hard stuff that were like hard to process, like you know, like Jack was always saying like you put this in the lower drawer, where you don't go back, you that's the, you know, the drawer for that, and you don't think about this anymore. So like you know, just to it was like not all bad, like you know, a lot of values and stuff, but not always the good values. Like but stuff remote viewing, like you know, like in daily life, like you want to find something, it's cool, you know, it's all stuff like that, that once you practice and all, like cause you know, me at first, like for astral projection, like I wasn't working, it wasn't working, and at some point it just like started working as soon as because so much into it, like determined to like succeed, that practicing that it was like just like instantly, like even like being waterboard. So that's like you got to be like, because it's something that's not easy to do, like in during that kind of like stuff. So yeah, and like this, I managed to do it, and that's what sent me to Montauk.
Hmm.
So yeah, there's a lot of tests. Like one of the tests was like we were put asleep for almost a month. Like there were a bunch of bunk beds, and like we all had headphones, and they were playing tapes, like reputation, and like nothing that's like making any sense. Like just people talking, and like a kind of a phrase there of something, another phrase later of related, or but nothing that I could like repeat, because there's nothing that kind of makes sense in what they were making us listen. And like they were just giving us drugs so we sleep, and they're coming to wake us up, to send us to the toilet, and like back to the bed. And like that was for a month. And like me and my buddies, we all remember this, and we even like built a place for the other kids. So like that's one of the plays that I gave in my book, like because I closed a few plays that they can't use anymore, because like my book is like non-censored. So yeah, there's a few plays that people are maybe gonna recognize and say, oh yeah. So like that's why they don't want my book out, because like yeah, I'm an asshole when I want. So
I think we should take a second and let people know where to get your book now that it's censored.
yeah, the only place is lulu.com, lulu.com. The only place you can get it that is not censored so far. So yeah, like Amazon banned it inside 24 hours, and they banned me for life from opening an account. And like I lost like 2 YouTube channels because of that. Like yeah, so like it's out, and like it won't like it's coming out.
And what's the name of the book so that people can make sure they get the right book?
It's Terror at Montauk, like the last moment of Camp Hero. Uh, in the Montauk Boys, like yeah. So that's the title, like Terror at Montauk.
Thank you. So I think I was listening to a podcast before, Chris, and you were saying how did you meet Preston Nichols?
Yeah, yeah. I saw him like a few times at Montauk, but I also saw him like the last time I saw Preston Nicole was probably like a few months after like Montauk closed, Montauk happened, and I was just starting to see back my dad, and like we were in the flea market in the uh, Laval area, and like the Great Montreal area. So and who comes in the flea market and starts running after me, Duncan, Duncan. So like I was like kind of numb to that, but like he starts like talking to my dad, and like, you recognize me, and yeah, like, and like start explaining to my dad like what happened there, and how bad the project was, and how special I was, and like and he was there to like go buy some like electronic parts uh at the flea market. And so but the night he was organizing psychotronic event or something like that, and he offered me and my dad to like go, but it was like 5 hours drive to reach that place. So like my dad, like but my dad talked a while with him. So like and yeah, like, and Preston is actually the one that got me out off of the chair, like when the monsters were like breaking up the place. And like he brought me to like those military trucks, because there were like 2 military trucks with like a big tarp in the back and 2 rows of seats. So like they brought us in those military trucks, and they gave us like a gray blanket, and because we were all in panties, and like somebody went and like get some jogging suits, like some were gray and blue, and some were like a green and gray. And they dispatched all the suits to us, and at the same time, like a yellow bus, a school bus came with all blacked out window, and like they made all the kids transfer. But like as I was transferring, my cop handler arrived, and Preston like came and got me out of the bus, and said to my man, get him out of here because they'll use him as a guinea pig. So like from there, like we followed the bus for a while, and like we stopped at the Memory motel to clean me up a bit because I was like all beat up, full of blood, like he had to bring me to my mom, you know. So when I when I got to my house, like my mom was freaking because like usually the kids that were going back home after Montauk had a little like kind of a week of the healing, to heal and stuff, but I didn't have that week. Like I was freshly beat up, kicked, and like yeah, so yeah, she was like freaking. Like they locked me up in my room, and like I still hear their conversation in the kitchen. Like you know, like my cup handler didn't know what to say because like he wasn't there on the spot when this happened. You know, like he just arrived when like they pulled us out. So like he was just saying to my mom like Jack's gonna come, like he's gonna explain everything. Like so I couldn't go out and all because I was like so like beat up. Like so I had to wait till Jack came, and like once he came, he told me like, okay, let's say a story that you felt like next to the light tower, like in the rocks, like at your trip in New York. So like that's what I had to say. Like when I started going out after he came home and all, and allowed me to go out and play, like because yeah, like after the like it took a few days before he came, like because yeah, it was like a big thing. Like the Montauk, like the Camp Hero closed that day, like those monsters save a lot of kids, like you know, like the kids that were in the bus, and that's like I'd like to like get in touch with some of those kids. Like I hope some are still alive. Like so, yeah. Anyway, like if they hear like me talking, they'll remember exactly like how it was. So yeah,
Do you think
they
you would
should.
recognize them if you seen them?
Sorry.
Do you think you would recognize them if you seen them?
No, like actually, I saw like what's his name, Stuart Swardlow, and like I was brought with there with him in the same car because like we live 15 minutes away. This I didn't know uh, at the beginning, like recovering my memories. It's Ann Diamond that knew him and knew his story, and like told me like yeah he was living there. So I check on Google Map, and like it all came back, the trajectory, the conversation we had. He had already like a Playboy earring at that time, like so yeah, like I saw him a few times, like but like we were brought there to like Montauk like that day together, and so like yeah, and like but you know you look at I would look at him today like without knowing like this was a little kid. I wouldn't recognize a guy like you know like it's 40 years like you know
Right.
like that makes no sense. Like you recognize no like fuck, like we were like kids, like we were like, but yeah, like I saw him a few times, and like events that like him too must remember. He doesn't want to get in contact with me, like for sure, like because like I think he's scared because my story is like getting like pretty real, you know, like compared to like Peter Moon's story, like so yeah.
So I'm kind of curious, Chris, what was it that was inside you that said, I need to write a book now and share this out? Was there like something that
I wasn't
happened,
like
or
I wasn't planning on writing a book at all. It's like because I was in the action class and I had to write like my statement and all. And I was talking to Anne, and like Anne, like she's like she has a lot of knowledge in MK Ultra, like like she's been like through it at McGill, and like she knows a lot of people that went through it and all, and like yeah, she just convinced me, like like your story is that important. Like, people have to know, like she was saying, I was the missing link to the Montauk mystery, like and yeah, that kind of like because I was thinking about like all those kids and all, and like she got me like that too, like like think about those other kids, and so like some point I said yeah, not knowing, like not balancing everything I was getting into at that time, like but like I said, like fuck it, I'm doing it or I'm not doing it, and I just said I'm doing it too. So that's what I did, and yeah, like it's a life changer, like because like fuck my life. They're a nightmare. They're a pain in the ass, like when they get on you. But some point, like I'm stubborn, and like I made sure that like if they do something, it's gonna be just getting fucking worse for them. So like like I'm really fair, and like they know what I got out, like because I made sure I gave a few copy that would leak so that they would knew what I would release, so that I wouldn't get killed because they didn't knew what I was like gonna release. So like I played the cards like I think I should have, and I have no regrets, and like hopefully like I won't do I've done this like without like people like like cause I like it's nice to hear about like the Stranger Things, the Montauk, but when you listen to what happened to us, and like like kind of put yourself in our place, and like imagine like like look at a kid that's like, because I was 8 years old, look how little they are, how fragile they are like innocent, like imagine like being beat up by like army guys, like yeah, or like abuse and all, and like I could go on and on, like there's yeah, so you gotta like you realize this, and like the like the new drugs that the elite like consumes, like like this is something that has to stop, like there's one way to do this, and like it's through torture and like killing of like young kids, and like that's that has to stop, and like I don't care if like they're mean. I'm meaner than them. Like like yes, I'm my story's out, and like I'm there to like stop this. Like I stopped with Montauk. Like with my book, I'm closing a few places that they can't use, like 5, 6 places. So like like it's hard. It's rare that they get hit by somebody like that and not reply. But at the same time, like now that they know that I remember what happened there, they know that I can, like they don't want me to say, hey, say hello to my little friends, like like because this is the kind of shit they're thinking, because like they dealt with it once, and like I was 8, now I'm 50 close, like I know way more worse stuff, so like it's something like they have to like kind of digest the pill, and just like because I'm still fair, I'm not breaking everything, because like people still need like secret services, and like I don't want to ruin everything, but like there's a good cleanup that needs to be done, and I want to be part of like doing this cleanup, like I have been trained for that, so that's yeah.
Yeah. And there's a question over something you had mentioned in the chat room. And when you talk about the kids needing to be in fear and everything, are you addressing that drug that a lot of the people in Hollywood and some politicians are using to keep young
Yeah,
Okay.
that's and a lot of those people that are like politicians and artists were monarchs too. Like they went through the program. Like not everybody went through the same things. Like there's like hundreds of like diverse projects and for different goals, different fields, like for later and also like was not everybody wasn't going through all the same things, but in my case and in the case of my buddies that got recruited with me yeah, we all wanted the same thing and we all got the same thing pretty much.
I'm kind of curious with your experiences going through the gate and everything. Have you ever been like just in passing looking at something and going, you seem very familiar, get like deja
Deja
vu?
vu. Yeah. Yeah, totally. And that's something it's funny because we had always a book to carry with us, and even during vacations and stuff. And once, if we had deja vu experience or weird feelings or stuff like that, we had to write this down. And once we're back, we had to say it. And my mom was always keeping note of this. I had this book, and you know, so once we were back showing this where and they're talking about this and exploring those signs and educating us so that's something yeah, we dealt a lot with that kind of stuff the first few years, I would say half the school was regular school, and the other half was psychic powers and stuff like that. All kind of some stuff was super cool. Wow, you realize all this later. Wow, I was lucky, kind of thing. For those points, some wow, I survived that. So it's, it's extreme, but there's balance kind of thing to it. But you gotta, as much as there's a balance, does doesn't make that a kid deserves to be in that situation and be the one that is being balanced and stretched like that. So that's it.
Sorry.
Well, I'm a little curious too, is with you being from Quebec and meaning Canada,
Yeah,
do you feel like your treatment in Montauk might have been different because you weren't a U.S. citizen, or
we had English names that they gave us on their way to Montauk, that we had to practice during the traveling there, and because we knew that the place was going to be hard. We could be interrogated and all, and they gave us those names to give if something happened, or so we had those names, and my name was Duncan Cameron, and we stopped at Duncan Cameron. I had this little Duncan donut cup and the little lunch, and I had also on me my chemical corpse badge. Okay, and in French it's a macaron, so I had macaron Cameron to remember and Duncan to to practice, because they just gave us LSD at the same time, because we were going 6 hours straight. We were four kids in the car, and our handler from that point, and we were going straight to Montauk. So we got there in the middle of the night, but yeah, we had to practice those names. And my buddy Steve was Pedro de Montoya. So but yeah, at some point just the LSD kicking in and all, I was always messing up and making everybody laugh in the car, and the driver at some point just said shut up and sleep. So yeah, we all turn around, look our side of the window, and did the ride. But um yeah, we passed to the customs there, and we didn't even stop. like the guy at the second floor, it was like a brown brick building, like the U.S. Canada borders, and like the guy at the second floor just like waved them the hand like that, and my handler just waved the hand, and like they were used to see cops traveling kids like that, like so. We got to Montauk. It was like middle of the night, and we got out of the car like. He just woke us up like a few minutes before turning in the parking, so we were all sleepy, and we had to walk in the little wood path and go down the hatch, and it was all like rectangular concrete, like the ash, and like a little rebar that was kind of inside the concrete, just like little rebars to and we had to go down, and from there there were different cage sections there too, because I can certify that because there were more kids in the army truck and bus than in my cage area, so there were other cage area, so I didn't see everything through. I went there a few times, but the other times I was brought there, because I went like 3 4 times on the Montauk chair, but I was brought there through the acid house, and I wasn't going through all the thing that I went the last call of Montauk. So, but yeah, that time I went the other way, and yeah, it wasn't the same thing.
Can you tell us about the acid house?
Yeah, well, the acid house, it was an office also. Okay, so where the coffee beans, the wallpaper of coffee beans was, there were desks there, an ashtray, and they were smoking there, and the other side was couches, and where there were tie dyes and stuff, and kind of palm tree in the tie dye, and that's where they were making us buzz on this, on LSD, and till we were going on the chair and after leaving. So that's, and another time through a school trip, a field trip, and they just split us from the group, and they brought us there, and that's I went there a few times, but the worst time was really when I went through everybody else was going through going there, it's not everybody that had the chance to go there for to do LSD in the acid house and go and chill on the chair. Wasn't that kind of thing. It was something else. Once you go through the process and those tunnels underground, and the place was built for that. You could scream, yell, cry, do anything you wish. Nobody would hear you or come for you. Like you know, and I don't know how they got the pig, because they brought a pig at some point, and they butchered us. They butchered the pig in the cage area, and I just the pig squealing, getting so they made it so that he would squeal for a while to traumatize us, they so yeah, that's memories I have. Uh, fuck, bad people, we gotta clean this up. So yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely, I agree. So the acid house, is that the one where it's different, like wallpaper in every room, right?
Well, there were a side that was painted tie dyes.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Mimic got good pictures of that. The guy uh, he was at the right place. He took and even the wallpaper, the coffee beans wallpaper, the other side. That's something when you're on LSD, is those kind of thing you focus on, and that kinds of carves in your mind, and it's a print that stays there, and you recognize those things once you spend the hours focusing on this stone, yeah. So that's how I remember that that place, yeah. So
Yeah.
that's the acid house, like, and it was like just like a regular house on on the yard of like the Campy Road there at Montauk.
Right, right.
Okay. And Iron Bear 78 is asking, did you wake up with nosebleeds in the middle of the night?
Not that I know of. No, like well, like maybe it happened younger or whatever, but like I don't think related to that or like oh I couldn't say like like it's not something I've really looked into, but yeah, like is there a point to this? Like is there some because like I could like probably like look like for like in those beatings or whatever like it's like a big tape like the way they build their or mine it's like a big tape like
Right.
so it's like a photographic memory kind of thing, so like yeah, and you can explore those photography and go get those other details like like in your mind, like it's that's a that's one of the good sides, that's something that you use in daily life, and yeah.
Yeah. My friend Derek says he's had some really bad news yesterday. Prayers are appreciated. We are truly being targeted real bad.
Mhm.
So prayers to you, Derek.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
There's many
talking
of us
about
that are.
being, yeah, talking about being targeted, do you find that that's something you're noticing a lot of being targeted? And how do you go about keeping yourself from being targeted?
Well, just at some point you don't give a fuck when it's like thousand million times like they're like you're trying to get up and they're just kicking you back on the ground, like you get numb and you don't give a fuck, and like you just like okay, okay, and you just continue like it's a regular thing. You're on cruise control like on this, like like so like at some point like you pass that don't give a fuck and you really don't give a fuck, and like that's where you come out like me and like do shit like that. So like, but yeah, that's you got to be pushed to this limit, like I had a good life like back up 15 years ago before I started like waking up to the project and asking question about like those tests at the Allen Memorial and all that, like got to my under, and like that's where my life changed. Like, I had like a Jeep business. I was like selling franchise. I had the first one open. Like I had 3.5 million in inventory paid to me. Like shop full equipped. Like, like 5,000 customer. Like, like I was supplying like scrap yards and like dealers and like, like I was the main place for Jeep for like accessories and stuff. And like they made it up, they set me up, like I lost everything.
I
So
think they do that so you don't. I feel like I've noticed that is they'll hit you in any way form in your normal life just so
yeah,
you can't progress to tell the truth.
yeah, and they made me pass for crazy on the news, like because like when they set me up they sent me to maximum security jail, okay, and I asked my lawyer to get like psychiatric evaluation because I had like my escape plan from there. So because maximum security was impossible. Like we had an hour a day outside, the rest was locked. So I got transferred there, and somebody was waiting for me next to the transfer place, and I escaped for a year. But like for a year, they made me pass for like crazy on the news, and like don't approach him, like you must have changed of appearance, and like uh, all the news, and like they all had the same article, the same, exactly the same. So that's where you see like that's the corruption, like like when they don't like distort nothing and just use the same. Like that's a good sign of
Like a
yeah.
cookie
So
cutter.
Right.
yeah. So
I just
anyway, like
noticed. Yeah. I
I
just
I
noticed.
I I got escaped for a year, and like I turned myself after a year, but like it could have been like because they wanted to give me like 20 years, and by doing this, like I proved that they were wrong, and like because I didn't go and kill everybody and like do nothing bad, like so and turn myself in. So like they were just fucked up, and they're like what they were trying to prove against me. So like I was acquitted. Like I got released inside 2 years. So yeah.
Okay. I was just gonna say we're at the hour mark, so everyone that's watching this, if you're liking this, please help support our channel by hitting the like button, whether it's on Rumble or Facebook or YouTube and Rumble both. And are you available to keep going with your story, or do you need to run, Chris?
No, I'm good. Like we can continue. Like yeah,
Okay.
like I don't mind. Like if you guys still want to go, like yeah,
Yeah.
if you want to do this another time, there, yeah, I don't mind. I'm open. Like the goal is like to have this shared so that people can listen to this and like hopefully dig a bit more into those stories and like if
Right.
this
And
can be brought to like light in the public and be like stop being censored everywhere like because like we're fighting against censorship and like so like if everybody can share and like and that's appreciated that gives a hand and like it's for like at the end of the day it's for the kids, you know, like so
Absolutely.
right. And you kind of touched on it, but I want to go back and revisit it a little bit and in a new way is now that you've sort of, you could say, awakened to what you've done and being a part of the projects and the programs, do you feel like you are able to use any of those abilities currently? And how do you use them? Do you like go on the astral and try to help people that are going through it?
Some are like just programming me, they're automatics, but I don't want to like I don't want to give them those like advanced. So that's why I won't talk about those like kind of like powers that I still have. But like it's programming me, and like I think most of the people that went through MK, those powers are probably like programming them to come out, and like it's no shit like the signs I don't want to elaborate on this, but it's wild. Like, believe me, like, so, like, yeah, there's some, like, we're human are so powerful and, like, they're hiding all those, all this knowledge, like, to keep, like, a certain, like, really powerful. But, like, give this to, like, people, like, with like, good hearts and, like, good values instead of, like, those people that are in charge now that have no heart and, like, just, like and like the world would be a nice place, you know, and that's my goal, like because like everybody like once they get in touch with the power they have, because we all have certain powers, not all the same, like and like certain are stronger than others, but like we all have our certain like strong points, you know, kind of and like if everybody unites, it's a bit like the boat, the little boat that I was floating that I was talking earlier about. Like when we all unite, you should see how the strength goes. So you know, like everybody noticed that the elites are like trying to divide everybody, but yeah, that's why, because they don't want us to unite and like kick the boat out of the thing quick like that. And that's how it's gonna happen once everybody like wakes up to the power we have. And like, yeah, like, who are they to keep this knowledge from us? Like, they're smarter? No, they're dumb.
Mhm.
Right. And one thing I like to remind people of when we talk about, like, people waking up and uniting and making a change, we always think we had to have like 51% or more to have, the majority, so to speak, to cause this change. But when you go back and you look at America when we were getting our independence, it was less than 1% that stood up to the mightiest empire and lasted 5 years and finally got help from another nation. But we stood on our own for 5 years to prove that we had the mettle to not just say we wanted freedom, that we actually were willing to fight for it.
Yeah,
And other nations then started to come in and support. So when we're talking, and like Chris is talking about, uniting and bringing down this programs and all this negativity in the world, less than 1% toppled an empire. So you don't need a majority to do it.
yeah,
You just need people willing to
yeah,
say, yes, this is what I believe, this is what I want. And that's all you really got to do is
yeah,
just share out that energy and it'll topple itself.
yeah. Like, the thing is to be genuine. I think it's the way you reflect the most. And like another thing, I'm trying to like be interviewed, finding a way to be interviewed on a lie detector, like but like that's not easy. And like I couldn't like go and like pay for somebody and like do it by myself. It wouldn't be valid. So like somebody has to surprise me at some point and like, hey, okay, I got a lie detector. You go on a live show, just so that people like, like imagine the live show, like people asking like a question about the monsters and all on a lie detector, like, like the truth about Montauk. Like imagine how this video would go viral. Like that would be just insane. And like that's the way to get the billion people of the follower of Stranger Things to like know the real face behind Stranger Things. Like what happened to us, the kid there, like who was doing, like the military, the government was doing this to us, the cops. Like people have to understand this, like and like people have to like be shocked to like ask for this to stop and like unite. And like because once like people will be like everybody on this will have to stop. No choice. Like like there's a limit to the place you can hide. So
All right. And I actually have a question for Nova and you, Chris. And I'm assuming, which is I'm admitting right now, that Nova has seen Stranger Things or is familiar with it.
Yes.
What do you think was the symbolism and like hidden message of the fact that it was a little girl who was crossing over and able to cross the dimensions and do all of this when all the programs we've had up to date, it's always men that are leading the charge or being the hero. And Stranger Things was a rarity in my perspective and opinion to make a little girl the strong one, the heroine.
I think it's to make a distortion of the truth, kind of, because like to change a bit the pattern, but also to keep certain elements that are true, because that's their kind of way they're mocking people and all. At the end of the day, like those that are in charge are satanic people, and like yeah, they all see life a different way than we deal or see, and like that's a kind of mocking thing, like but like I know there's girls who went through like the Montauk, not the Montauk, but the Monarch project, and like I wasn't there to like see if like I didn't see any girls at Montauk, but like I didn't see all the cage area either. Like so like probably we weren't like mixed together, but I know there's other places I saw underground that there were girls and like yeah, the same kind of place, but like not like a bit newer than Montauk. Montauk was old and like dirty, and like the other place was like newer. So, but yeah, like cages, and so yeah, like I think they, and like to put like 11 years old. I was 8 years old. Like like they probably don't want people to know, like like, hey, teachers were in that, and like like social services, like like it's that's what they didn't want people to know, and like that's what I'm releasing in the book, kind of thing. I'm not giving names or like I'm not a snitch. Like, if I have to deal with some of them, I'll deal with them personally, and I'll have pleasure doing it. But like, yeah, I'm not giving names. Like, uh, just like giving the true colors of the project, and like who was doing that to us, and like the kind of people kind of in charge of that, or involved in this in a way or the other. Yeah.
What was the question, Michael? Sorry, I was listening and got totally forgot.
So the question was the fact that Stranger Things uses a little girl to cross the barrier and be the one that's like the tough one, the heroine, so to speak, and the hero of the story. Do you think there was a hidden message and symbolism to the fact that they used a little girl instead of males like they usually do?
Um, I mean, I'm not sure if there was. I don't know if there was a hidden agenda there myself. Um, I have recall of going through. I mean, Stranger Thing was pretty triggering for me. That was a hard show to watch for me. It triggered a lot of different things. But I know that there was girls there at Montauk or going through those programs as well. Um, I mean,
Yeah.
but I don't know if there was a hidden agenda. I couldn't tell you that for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, like you've been through like so yeah, you're not the first girl that tells me this actually, that like, so, but personally the way we were brought in, and like I didn't go through like all the cage area, so I didn't see you guys, you girls there. So but yeah, the place was so big, like that, like people don't realize how, like the dump bays and like the tunnels everywhere, and like, how big this is everywhere. Like like you think like our tax money is invested up here. No, like it's down there. It's nice. Like like that's where the money goes. Like so yeah.
I'm curious too with both of yous. Like, I've talked with Christy and a couple others, and I have memories of training, and the training to like combat training wasn't gender specific. It was if you were in the ring with the girl, you were in with the ring with the girl. There was no distinction And
Yeah.
so I'm curious if both of yous, with your experiences, do you have memories of training, like combat training with like males and females, or do you have memories of just one or no memory of combat training?
I have memories of training with girls also, the being trained, but like the combat like was more like between guys anyway. Like for me, like but like probably like at some point they mix girls with guys and like probably same size a bit or like just to like they're experimenting too like with us, eh? They're testing the limit so like they can like put 100 pound against 500 pounds or so just for the blast of it. They're done like that. So yeah, like I don't know Nova like how your training was, but like aspiring like the same age range though. Like that's one thing that they were trying to keep like the same age range of kids, like not like older kids with us or like so like that was different groups or like so that's one thing I noticed.
Yeah, no, I I agree with what you're saying there too. I think there was a mix of both genders, but it was the same age range for sure.
Yeah, so I think that's how they were doing it, like like probably like that type of training for that age, and like and as you go and but like another thing that's like you guys like nobody talked about this, but like the Montauk chair,
Hmm.
like that was like a serious piece of technology, okay? Like what we were thinking about, like there were a little like table that they were bringing like on the side of like the like on the right side, okay? And behind the little screen, like there were a little computer screen, like a little tiny screen, and behind this there were like that little table with wheels and like a pole, and like there were a power cord on it, like on the pole, and there were like on the middle shelf like a projector with three lights, and they were like hooking it up in the air with two bungee cord and lining it up on like the top shelf of that table at a little kind of machine with a little slot of light that was coming out like a straight, okay, and like so this the lights of the projector pointing on this, and like what we thought was appearing as an hologram floating over that. So that was like like, hey, we're backing up in the 80s. So like I think like the legends about like that chair coming from Roswell accident is like really plausible, like from my experience on it, and like the thing I have lived with yeah, on it, and also yeah. So that's something that like a lot of people were talking about, like yeah, that like stuff was appearing, but nobody like said how that was working, and like sometime it was on the right side, and I remember one time they put it in front of the chair, and like but like a bit on the left, and like they hooked it on a pipe, and with the bungee cords. So yeah, like those are all memories, like like when I was there like hours, days, and like weeks. So like there's a lot of stuff I remember from that place, like and yeah, like that's kind of details that people have to like get out, so that people, oh yeah, like I remember that little table and stuff like that, because that's the setup of the Montauk chair. Like that's how it was. Like they were putting it on the right side behind the computer screen, or like in front sometime. So, but it was an accessory that like Preston was bringing, and like what you were thinking was really appearing like hologram. Like you couldn't grab it, or but like you saw like clear. It was clear image. I'm like, so
Right.
Right, and it reacted differently for different people. It wasn't like the chair was, you know, s- something that was you could either activate it or didn't activate it. It activated based on who you were and what you were almost, I want to say, capable of. Would you say that's a true statement or
I couldn't say because like like Preston was like taking care of all the electronics and the monitoring and stuff, and like people that say we weren't drugged, we were super drugged for the chair, like because yeah, that's like astral projection, and that was the goal, that they wanted, like, and sometimes wondering if like it wasn't DMT or something else, like on the chair, because like I was used to the LSD like on a regular base, but like on the chair it was like another level of drugs kind of thing, and I don't know if it's the gas or like because like they were testing a bunch of stuff on us, so
right?
like
And
yeah.
Iron Bear 78 is asking, was it a jump chair?
Well, it was a stainless chair, and there were actually two chairs there. There were one that was like more like a kitchen chair, and the other one was like with your legs, like you were a bit laying down like that, but like with your legs straight, like a long chair kind of thing. And like that's the one I was going on, and yeah, some people call it trip chair or whatever, but like I. I'm not English. Like one thing I know, it's like a trippy chair, like because it was like high tech and like back up. Like, imagine like it's Star Wars just came out and all, and you're on that chair, and you're like doing those tests. It's kind of cool, like like. And another thing, they sent me twice to NASA to do tests. Like I had like twice to Disney for a week, but like I had to go and do a test at the NASA boat vacation. And like the first time I went was like I was paired up with a black kid, and he was there with his granddad too, like because like his parents were probably working too. So I went there with my granddad, and anyway, we were paired in the thing that turns super quick, and like started turning till we wiped out to just see how much G we could handle or something like that. And after like we left the place, and like I never seen those people again, like except for my granddad. We had the week at Walt Disney SeaWorld and all, like so yeah, that was cool. The second year was also at the NASA, and it was like a kind of a big office with a lot of people with scientific vests and stuff, like, and like there were a corner, and there were like a glass square with a seat in it, and it was filled up with the icy water, and like they just put monitor on me, and like I had to sit down in it for, I don't remember how long I stayed in it, and like the scientific guy was just checking the monitor and all, and after a while he gave me a towel, and like I dried up, and we back to the vacation, like, so you put yourself like a kid, like I was like always watching the $6 million man and all, and like he goes at NASA and all, like I was doing this. So imagine the trip when you're a kid, and you're like your parents are boosting this, like you'll be a hero, like, and like you like like, and you want to be a $6 million man too. They put a lot of money on us, like like traveling us everywhere and all the formation, and like, so like that was a good trip, like young, you feel good about it, and like you're ready to accept like those harder parts that are, or like you just don't want to think about it at some point, because like, wow, it's so cool, like, but like, fuck, when you're older and like you realize everything, like, whoa, like yeah, that's where you know that a kid like they have to be grown up to make like good choice because what they think like that's the proof. Like so
I'm curious, talking about like $6 Million Man and Bionic Woman and all those
yeah,
type of shows. I wonder if it was their way of, we call it soft disclosure, admitting, what we were capable of. But I wonder if it was their way of going, like, for example, if you were to come out and say, "Oh, I could run like that," and they're gonna say, "Well, yeah, everybody watched Bionic Man or, watched all these shows, so everybody imagines being that," and so it was a way to discredit
yeah, the
what we
NASA
were.
or stuff like that people would talk about. Oh, I went to NASA to do stuff like stuff similar that they show in shows. Yeah, I get what you're saying there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, they made it so that like if somebody would talk, they would pass for crazy, like cause like the thing is so crazy, but like once you like go beyond the crazy and give it a chance and like dig into it and like and get the real facts and all, like wow, like crazy becomes like crazy wild, like 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 to process all this because like even if you went through all this once they erase your memory you don't recall everything on the spot and some stuff like wow, like like the gravity of stuff that's done through all this and like how they use people and all, like it's we have to put a stop on this and like yeah, my name is Chris and I'm here for that. So yeah, so we'll do it like one way or another.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're actually approaching now an hour and a half, and so do you have any last minute questions, Nova, that you want to ask?
I don't think so. I really
Well,
enjoyed talking to you though, Chris. Thank you for coming.
Likewise, thanks for having me, guys, and like I appreciate you, like your efforts you're doing on exposing this, and like yeah, hopefully everybody can unite and like do a bit like you guys are doing. And a little question for you, Nova, like were you from like the? Because I know like a lot of people were from Quebec, but not only from Quebec. Like that was just one of the area, like. But they had like CIA schools like everywhere. Like like some people from the CIA were sent to us to teach us. Like they were going to a school for like a week or so to train us for certain like stuff in their field, and after like they were going to other schools, like so like it's not like our school was the only one, like
No, I'm
so,
from Minnesota.
okay,
And I remember as a child, so my grandpa and I, we traveled a lot. His family was from Germany and they moved here to Minnesota and built a farm. But one of the times that, and I have to say, I cannot remember any of the trip. The only part of the trip that I do remember is getting pulled over. And it was just the little part of the cop walking up to the car. That's all I remember. But we went to Canada and there was some kind of issue and me not having a passport. But that's kind of, I'm like, there's something there, I think,
yeah,
when I was hearing about you. So
yeah.
yeah.
And like are you in the same like age? Because like there's so many groups, like I know there's younger groups, like I like installed some places for younger groups, like so I know there's younger groups than like my group, so but it wasn't done at Montauk after 83 because the place was closed, but like there's other places like that too, so yeah, I don't know if you're in the same range of age as I am, but like
I don't no, I don't think so. I'm 37.
okay, yeah, like there's a bunch of people in that age area, so like like maybe like people are gonna recognize some place that I talk about in my book, and like because like Montauk wasn't the only place, so
Right.
hopefully that's the goal, and like because yeah, like that lasted long enough, and
Hmm.
yeah. Like all United will close that place. So just joining a fort with everybody and like yeah. So,
Something I did find interesting though is you had said that you had second row of teeth. I did as well. So I wonder, there's got to be something to do with the DNA there that they're targeting
yeah,
people.
yeah, yeah. Like that's one of the first thing they did. They like taking blood works of us, like to see like our blood types and stuff, or and like the surgery, like there were still my gums, like just before they, because that was like gonna come out like with my adult teeth and all, like so like I had like over 30 teeth like removed like that. So
Mm.
yeah, that's and it's funny that you went through this too. So like I think like those how they what's the name in English, like when they do experiment like that, like mixing breeds and or like species or but
Hybrid.
yeah,
Hybrid.
hybrid, yeah. So like I think that's the probably like at the end of the day where we're from and like because
Yeah.
like you guys probably heard about the company Clonaid.
Yep.
That's in it's in Canada. It's the guy that owns this. One of the owners is Rael. He's the owner of a cult called the Raelians, and it's like a spaceship and like stuff and like um, yeah, that's the cult, and like he's the owner of that. And yeah, like if like we knew everything that like those people like can perform, because like it's not dating from yesterday for clones and stuff. And so yeah, we got a lot of catching up to do, so we got to get at it and like start with that like soon. So yeah, go and dig and ask some questions and like get back the knowledge they took from us, like
Absolutely.
yeah, and share it for free so that like people can like the place can be nice again, because like I have a little problem with gates kind of thing,
Here,
and
here.
everything he touches. So yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully I'll get a chance to meet him at some point. Yeah, yeah, I wish.
Right.
Yeah, and you, Michael, did you like you were in MK projects too, or
I have been told of a few projects I've been in.
okay?
I don't like the problem I'm finding that I'm adjusting to is I grew up outside of dogma and mainstream. I kind of grew up more metaphysical, so like astral travel was normal for me
Yeah,
and past lives was something I was aware of. So I have memories of these, and then I learned being in the projects is similar, and so I'm in a spot where I'm trying to discern,
who
are
you
my
are.
memories programs
Yeah,
or are my memories past lives?
that's
Are they both? And so,
me.
but
What changed my life was the regression hypnose with Misha Johnston. Like, if I can suggest you one good thing, like I did this, she unlocked my memory. And like from that moment, I did this, like, because I was at the same level as you are talking about, like, at some point, and like, when I went through the regression hypnose and like she unlocked my memory, that moment and like removed all those blockage they made, like hypnotic blockage they made through the years for certain different things. Like this changed the life of a guy just to know who you are. Like like where those memories are coming from, like you're saying, and like like was this like implanted in you or from a past life, or like you want to understand, and like this is a way to yeah.
Mhm.
yes, thank you. I'll definitely look into that. And one of the things, though, that I always find interesting is like I was drawing pictures as a kid of mountains, like a single mountain that would have no doors, but there would be like 3 levels inside the mountain, and there'd be like aircraft, ground craft,
Yeah, that's
and people. And I was talking to Arkeem, and he's like, "That's projects. Those do exist." And that was like the moment that solidified. Yeah, I've had bleed through memory of that. That was like definitely program, and so that's what started me on my journey was that. And I have one memory too that even surprised him was having a ship in space that's protecting a Stargate, and craft was coming through, and so they beamed me up, like astral beamed me up. And I go and I'm on the bridge, and they tell me what's going on. So I walk to somewhere in the ship, and next thing I know, I see myself walking in space on the hull of the ship. No helmet or gloves, but I have a suit on that I had no idea what it was, and use psionic energy to dissipate and remove the craft that came through and to lock the gate down. And so whoever was coming through unfortunately met a hard surface when they tried to come out of their travel. And I simply walked back down and went to the bridge and was like, "So, is everything okay now?" And they're like, "Yep." And I was put back in my body.
yeah. A lot of people are like that I'm talking to, like their role is a lot in the ether, like in the astral like planes. Like a lot of people are meeting through there, and like I think it's a big part of the work that has to be done. And like those people are like doing working on this, and like because like they're attacking us from everywhere and every aspect. And like if that's there's this many people that recognize themselves through like in those astral planes, and like in this etheric like world, like so like there's there's magic, and we don't understand everything yet, and we have to have access to those like those knowledge that are hidden from us, or just like distorted, so that we don't know the truth, like. And yeah, once we deal with this, like everything deals together, and like we fix the problem or we don't fix it. Because in my case, I don't have the intention of living 30 seconds in their like fantasy fuck world that they plan for us. Like it's a joke. It's nobody wants that. Like I can't imagine myself like having cameras all the time on me, like fuck. I don't go to cities because of that. Like like I hate that. So imagine like a world where like they want, like because I've seen like the extremity of their plans and stuff, and like their goals, and like believe me, nobody wants that. And like it's time now to like everybody unite and like stop this, because it's getting late, like to like we'll have to fight hard, but like at some point or the other, this fight needs to come, and like hopefully sooner than later, so that we can like start planting the new seeds, and like build this new world, and like see a bit the fruits of it, like in our lifetime. Like I'm not talking about something that's gonna take 2,000 years to like erase of our history. Like once we get on it, it's not long. Like yeah, it's not long.
I agree. I'm looking forward to it too. And we'll definitely have to have you back on because there's like, I feel like there's so much more we could be talking about and
Yeah,
more
my
to delve
pleasure.
into. And we're unfortunately short on time. And so,
Yeah.
Nova, since you were the one behind this, do you want to end the episode?
Oh shoot, I don't even know how. No, but I really would love if we could get Chris back on. That would be awesome.
Yeah, anytime. Like you guys are genuine and like the effort you're putting out, exposing all this, and like if we can unite and like show the example, and yeah, like I'm all in for that. So yeah, let me know anytime. I'll be honored to be on your show again.
Well, thank you, and we're honored to have you as a guest. And I am grateful to Nova for introducing you to me. And
Same.
so thank you, Nova, for that. And thank you, everyone in the chat room. And thank you to everyone watching. So, wherever you are in the world, make it a beautiful day, evening, morning, afternoon. If you're asleep, hopefully you're having beautiful dreams and will wake up to a beautiful day. And with that, I'm going to say good night from our show to you, and enjoy. And do please remember to hit the like button. That is so important for shows like ours to help defeat the algorithms that are out to suppress the information or to shut it down. And so by hitting that like button, you are helping us to beat the, what's the word I'm looking for? My mind has just gone blank. It's when they are trying to
Yeah, they're
keep
on our
something from
case.
coming out.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, I can't think of the word. The to beat the algorithms that think of it as like conspiracy, trying to keep us from sharing the truth. Censorship. Thank you, Iron Bear 78. That's the word.
Awesome.
So, all
Well,
right. So,
thanks guys for having me on your show, and yeah,
Thank you.
hopefully we can do this again soon, and yeah.
yes, we will definitely be in touch and have you back on this season.
Thanks.
Yep, thank you. You guys have a great night.
Yes. Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Let me make sure I hit the right button.